Hello, I'm TheZOMBIEJ. I have returned with another LEGO video because, well, this is a LEGO channel after all. Probably the most angry of YouTube LEGO tuber channels. Angry BioTuber, angry LEGO tuber. I take my inspirations from other BioTubers, but also, and other LEGO tubers obviously, but also from angry folks of different, hobbies. AVGN, when it comes to video games, and Cover Killer Nation, when it comes to music. You could say I am the AVGN or Cover Killer Nation of the BioTube community, Bionicle community, LEGO community. But that would be being generous in a way, I guess. Either way, my anger and rage towards LEGO for the shit they've pulled is 100% justified. Well, we're not gonna be super bitchy about what they've done with regards to G2 here in 2026. They have acknowledged through a social media post Bionicle G2. They have acknowledged its existence and how it sort of, provided nostalgia for the fans, despite it being a new take. Get it? New take on the theme that we all know and love. It was problematic. It was a problematic take on the classic theme. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's merits. There's some good things about it. Story-wise, no. Set-wise, yes. For the most part. The story did have some good ideas here and there, but the execution was lukewarm and really just didn't like it. And anyone who defends the story for Bionicle G2 is a moron! It's not good! Now, the problem here with this acknowledgement is that, well, I like to think that LEGO would put G2 past their, they put it past themselves. What I'm saying is that they put the past behind them in regards to G2 and moved on, which is why this post was a thing. It's been covered on Reddit, and yeah, there's an image as well with purple background. However, you can't deny, and LEGO can't deny this either, that Bionicle G2 has haunted LEGO arguably since it launched in 2015. But more accurately, since it was cancelled. Sales were subpar. Drastically subpar, dramatically, I would say. And nothing special. It was a phoned-in theme. It was only done because a certain a new theme that they were going to do instead of Bionicle G2 would cost too much and was just not feasible. So they brought back Bionicle, phoned it in because they could. They thought we were idiots, thought we would buy anything had it be good. You're insulting your fan base, LEGO, when you say that. These people are idiots. They'll buy into anything. Yeah, no. Some people were wise to avoid G2, which I feel was wrong, because you should give it a chance. At least the sets. Never mind the story. Just give the sets a try. Yeah, some of them were a bit messy. But you could argue that the later Hero Factory sets were even more of a mess. More of a conglomerate of what the fuck am I even looking at? Good example of this is Invasion from Below. Invasion from Below had horrible fucking machines. Mechs that were fugly as hell, were not worth the price of admission, and the minifigs for the heroes were god-awful. I tell ya, I would purchase all those sets just to collect all the minifigs, dump them into a cardboard box about this size, pour lighter fluid on it, set it ablaze with a lighter, with a match with fire, and watch them burn to hell they go. Because those minifigs for the heroes cannot compete with anything like this. Holly and Nika as a minifig, and I have Jala and Nika as well. Jala, whatever the fuck you want to pronounce it, I don't care. Those are much better than what we got with Hero Factory. And you know what? Even this, a solid lump of white plastic. Nuju. With a one-piece weapon. Even this is better than that. Lacks posability, but hey. It's something. Yeah, the big Evo mech was always the one that I would gravitate towards, but I never bought it, obviously. I protested against Invasion from Below. I would never buy those sets. Only if I required the parts. I could just get the parts off of Bricklink. The beasts, the monsters, the creatures, whatever the fuck you want to call them, were the best part of Invasion from Below. Even the little polybag one. Yeah, those creatures are pretty cool. I can totally see those being injected into Bionicle G2 Year 3, if that was possible. Someone get on that. Now, Hero Factory's final year, yes, it was a mess. There were plot holes. There was a complete plot. There were plot holes everywhere, it seems. Yet the story was at least somewhat balanced, maybe. It was more kid-friendly than Bionicle G2. I mean, G1, sorry. But it felt like Bionicle G2's story was a much simpler take. Some may argue a Hero Factory take on the classic theme that we all knew and love. And then there's the whole argument regarding the Hero Factory parts. Just because they started with Hero Factory doesn't mean CCBS was strictly a Hero Factory thing. You morons! Wake the fuck up! Hero Factory, yes, was the first theme we got with CCBS. You can argue that Ben 10 from 2010 was the first because those joints, those sockets. But that was just the precursor to what CCBS would become. And it properly started with Hero Factory, but it wasn't strictly Hero Factory. There was Star Wars, of course, which is where CCBS died with the final wave in 2018. Would have been nice to see what the Rise of Skywalker sets would have been like. But we didn't get that because LEGO decided it would have been more financially suitable for them to cancel CCBS buildable action figures because of low sales. Most likely. That's all they care about is money. At the end of the day, that's capitalism for you. Fuck it. And, well, there were other themes, obviously, you know, the Ultra Builds, Marvel DC stuff, Chima, and, yeah, so that's basically all I could think of. Bionicle G2, Hero Factory, that's all, basically, is what it was. But, yeah. And there are bootlegs that exist, but, hey. Bionicle G2's story was problematic, 100%. Simple, dull, boring, lame, It would have been good had it been actually complete. Actually, you know, what the fans would have expected from Lego at that point. It just felt like something that, well, made it feel like Lego was saying that kids are dumb and they'll digest anything. And they did. But not Bionicle G2. Sales were subpar. Because G2 did not sell enough. No kid was interested in Bionicle at the time. And even if there were kids that were interested in Bionicle at the time, I'd like to think that they'd go back to G1 instead of G2. And I know there are some of you who are watching this who grew up with Hero Factory and G2. Sure, okay, I can see that, but you're missing out. You really missed out on G1 and the immense lore that you could digest with that series. I have all the books back there on a bookshelf. You can't see the bookshelf, whatever. And I love those books. Chapter books, guides, sticker books, activity books, whatever. The G2 books were lame. Graphic novels as well, where all those two books were lame. That activity book was a piece of shit. It was too easy to figure out. I didn't even bother wasting my time marking up that book just because, what was the point? I just wanted the mask. That was another thing about the books. The activity book, which was definitely no Bionicle 2003 activity book, it gave us a mask we already had. The protector mask for Kimu. Talk about lazy. Yeah, that's just Lego being lazy and uncreative. They should have given us that Golly mask in trans dark blue. That would have been nice had they given that. They would have put that with that book, that activity book, instead of this stupid tour thing they did. There were a limited amount of those masks, of that mask, and they're too expensive. It's way too expensive for me to justify wasting money on that single mask. As much as I want that mask, as much as I would love to see it on my Golly over there, my Golly Master set, I can't justify spending hundreds of dollars on a piece of trans blue plastic just to put it on my Toa Golly set. Yeah, it's a waste of money. No, I don't want it. I mean, I do want it, but I can't spend that kind of money right now, or at all. The Skull Scorpio mask is also pretty cool. You could totally put that on Skull Scorpio, but that's something that Lego should have. Lego really should have done better with the marketing, especially with the promo items, the polybags, and the promotional masks. You know, the clear how. They really fucked up. It was their fault. They shouldn't have to point the finger at the fans, us. We were doing what we could. So the ultimate demise of G2 ended with the last 6 or so minutes of Journey to 1. That's where the story ended. And it felt like Lego's take, and to an extent the Volta's take, on damage control. Because it felt like Lego was trying to, you know, send the heroes back to where they came, because so that no one would have to see these takes on our heroes ever again. You ignorant pricks. Say what you will about G2's story and its version of our classic heroes. but the sets were pretty good, at least. I would argue that the G2 sets, for the most part, were more playable and more fun than those, because those are more antiques at this point. They're old, they got brittle over time, and as a result, they're on the shelf right there, right where they should be. So a CCBS Bionicle set is more playable and more fun with the gear function with the knobs and being able to pose the character fully, except for the torso, abdomen, whatever. So, yeah. I mean, I still prefer those, but they're antiques at this point. You see them go for crazy prices at Lego resale shops and even eBay. The G2 sets had potential. G2 in general had potential. It was never fully realized. It wasn't going to be fully realized. It was never going to stand toe-to-toe with its predecessor, Hero Factory, and even Hero Factory's predecessor, Bionicle G1. The fact that it was acknowledged at all by LEGO sounds like they were adding fuel to the fire. As if, you know, we knew this theme was shit. We knew it was shit. Yes, it was shit. But it was part of our history. We acknowledge this line existed. We acknowledge it had fans. Enjoy this picture. What exactly are you doing, LEGO, in regards to this image, and in regards to this acknowledgement? Are you actually saying that you appreciate what G2 did for you? Because it did nothing. It got fans like me interested into the G2 theme, and also it gave fans like me nostalgia. Folks like TTV and other podcasts and whatnot, other biotubers, talked about Bionicle G1 and G2 in leads, in spades. And we all spoke about it on YouTube and promoted Bionicle even until today, even until nowadays. Here in 2026, we still talk about Bionicle ad nauseum. It's amazing. This community is the best community I've ever been a part in. I will continue to be a part of this community for as long as I live. Because this is a community that, hand over heart, I love. A toast to the Bionicle community. All of you, get a heart from me. Nice big heart. Times that by like, I don't know, 17. All the hearts for the Bionicle community. Okay, now we're getting a little ridiculous, but hey. Point is, we spoke about Bionicle as much as we were free to. Back in 2015 and 2016. What the fuck? And, we still promote this theme because it's what we're passionate about. It's a theme we are passionate about and love to this day, 100%. LEGO acknowledging G2, a theme that we promoted for LEGO because they couldn't be bothered, because their marketing was absolute trash. We did what we could. And they pointed the fingers at us and blamed us for, G2's failures, when it was their bullshit marketing that was to blame. With videos of designers, quote unquote, that are most likely just paid actors. Basically, Lego telling these folks, hey, we're going to give you money, pretend that you are Lego designers, that you design these Bionicle sets. What business would Lego have in doing that? Well, to deceive us and make us look like we're stupid. Well, it only makes them look stupid. Seriously. Lego are the biggest fools in regards to the way G2 was handled. It was phoned in 100%, and it was never meant to last for 3 years. They took away a year because it was easier for them to just give us 2. I feel like, and I believe this 100% by the way, that they only planned 2 years because they knew it wasn't going to sell. Based on the sagging sales of G1, and they predicted basically that this won't sell well enough, but let's put it out there and see what happens. Well, the only people that bought it were Bionicle fans, except for some of you fucking elitists who only worship the old construction. While the old construction was great, it was great for a time. CCBS was the future, at least until 2018 when it was discontinued. And even then there were still some bootlegs that were coming out with construction parts. This is a good thing. It means more parts for us to play around with. Honestly, I don't get why Lego acknowledged G2 when it was such a colossal failure, and it haunts Lego to this day. And those executives probably still talk about it in their free time regarding, this theme, we can't get away from this at all. We have to acknowledge it. So that's probably what happened. They have to acknowledge it, and they're basically like burying the past, I suppose, when it comes to G2, this theme that was canceled 10 years ago after the Journey to One ended. So, I mean, what do you think? Does Lego acknowledging G2 bring back memories of G2's supposed greatness to you? And if it does, hey, I welcome that. That's great. What are your fondest memories of G2? I'll tell you my fondest memory, and I already did a video about this, but my most fond memory was before it even happened. One day, in 2014, I had a dream. I had a dream that I was walking through the aisles of Walmart, and I saw new in box, new in containers, Bionicle sets. Revamped G1 sets. Still simplified for, mass production. I was just giddy like a schoolgirl. I was happy. I woke up to the dream being just that. Then I saw TTV's video regarding the leak, the first leak regarding G2, and oh my Christ almighty, it felt like a dream was literally coming true before my eyes. So as time developed, and we got more information regarding G2, I just couldn't believe it. Bionicle was coming back. And I indulged in it. I embraced it. I may not have liked the story as much as G1's or even Hero Factory's story. But I bought the sets. I bought multiples of some sets. And I enjoyed this theme set-wise. I built with the parts, and now I gotta charge the fucking camera. Then, I watched The Journey to One. The Journey to One looked pretty fucking awesome. The plot was okay for the most part. And I already did a review on The Journey to One, so go watch that if you will. But when The Journey to One ended, I was worried that this might be the end of G2. Wait, this is the end of G2? Please, LEGO, you better not do this. You better not do this to me. And well, they did. There was an announcement on the Bionicle G2 website that it was canceled. Because of poor sales, poor marketing, and many other reasons that have come to light ever since, for the past decade now. Wow. I was heartbroken. I cried. I wanted to kill myself. I wrote a song called Dear Bionicle. A parody, an emotional parody of Dear Agony by Breaking Benjamin. Did what I could to musically, make it similar to the actual song. And it wasn't even like a full-on, proper lyrical. I kind of messed up in some parts. But the lyrics were cringy, even back then. But I released the song anyway. People didn't like it. People didn't like my song, Dear Bionicle. The premise behind the song was simple. LEGO was, in my mind, just another shitty company possessed by corporate greed. And it was their fault, 100%. I believe this for 10 years now, that LEGO was completely to blame. It was their fault. Because for G2's demise, it was their fault. 100%. Because they were chasing the almighty dollar. They were chasing the dollar signs where they were the most feasible. And in this case, themes like Ninjago, themes like licensed themes like Star Wars and whatnot. And kids were likely making their parents buy the Star Wars construction sets over the Bionicle G2 sets. Because, hey, Star Wars. It's a piss poor reason to want to buy those sets. What are you going to do? Dear Bionicle was a song that I dislike. I dislike for a reason. That's because of how piss poor I managed it. The lyrics were cringe. My vocal performance was bad. The music, it was just, the audio workings and trying to, get the music, copied from segments of songs here and there and whatnot. Yeah, I was taking snippets of songs and trying to put together an actual instrumental. It was balls. It really was. What a terrible song. My reaction, basically my fuck you, basically, to LEGO for killing Bionicle twice. This song was like a wake-up call. Because it showed that, well, some of us were more heartbroken than LEGO could ever imagine. Now, obviously, there were people who were celebrating G2's ending and thought it was good that people don't get to enjoy this theme anymore. Well, that's just you being a piece of shit. It really is. How elitist do you have to be to get off on other people's suffering? Fuck you. Seriously, get some help. I'm pretty sure they have one. Do any of you remember Dear Bionicle? If you do, give me a hell yeah. Because at least that song, it was an emotional hell ride for me. Because I was putting the song together, and I was emotional during the recording, the vocal recording of the song. Back then I was, experimenting with music and, making my own music tracks, making covers and whatnot. And so it only made sense for me to do this with a song reacting to basically the death of Bionicle G2. I remember also making a song called Dark Hunters, literally about the Dark Hunters. That was a stupid song, it really was. But Dear Bionicle was... It was justified. I justified that song in its existence primarily because of what LEGO did. Then they had to lie and say that it was a business decision. In other words, poor marketing, poor sales, other things, obviously. Following the belief that kids will be suckered into this theme because kids are dumb. Well, you're dumb, LEGO, because you thought the kids were dumb enough to buy into this. Who the fuck do you think you are? Obviously, it feels like LEGO has become the Satan of the toy industry at this point. It's like EA. EA is the Satan of the gaming industry, so it makes sense that LEGO is the Satan of the toy industry. Some may say Hasbro, and there's an argument to be made there, but I have more experience with LEGO than I do with Hasbro. Even though I've had so many Nerf guns over the years, Nerf blasters, I have a smaller collection now, smaller arsenal, if you will, of Nerf blasters than I did years ago. I got rid of a lot of stuff. Anyway, back on topic. Acknowledging G2 as a theme that did not prove to be successful enough for you, LEGO. Acknowledging its existence only makes you look more like a bunch of corporate pricks. Because you think about the amount of money that you had to be at least grateful that it made money for you at all. Yeah, be grateful that it made money for you at all. Fuck the sales at that point. Fuck how subpar the sales were. It got you some money anyway, but not what you were expecting. You know what? I think they were expecting it to sell much less than what they were, than what some of people were hoping to be in that company. But, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And what it is what it is. So, to conclude this video, thanks for that unholy reminder of, 10 years of suffering because G2 was mishandled by LEGO. Their executives did not believe it would be successful, and they were right. 100%. They were not going to give us 3 years. They were going to give us only 2. Fuck 2017. They gave us 2015, 2016. That's it. That's all they had planned, in my mind. And I believe this 100%. They only planned for 2 years. Because the theme they were going to... You know, they cut the budget quite a lot. In fact, I would say it was more than half the budget was taken over to the Star Wars CCBS sets. You know that's true. Read into it what you will. But you can't deny that it's false. Because, I mean, the Star Wars CCBS sets, there's a lot more effort that was put into those than some of the G2 sets. Makes sense to me. Fuck you. Bringing up a theme that was a critical and financial failure for you, LEGO, feels like you're just bringing more pain than you already had during the theme's initial run in 2015-2016. So you're adding fuel to the fire, and you're at the same time reminding people that this theme even existed, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. Either way, you're still fucking up. You're still fucking up in regards to how you handle some themes. And G2 is no different. G2 was completely mishandled. You had paid actors who were pretending to be Lego designers, wearing the chemo mask shirt, looking like a bunch of tools. It really is sad that Lego is doing this. They did this. I found this via a Reddit post, and the image sparked memories of watching G2 fall by the wayside and losing my mind, because G2 was it was failing. And at the time, I didn't believe that G2 could fail as critically as it did. Well, it did. And look where we are now. While G1 is still superior to G2, I still admire G2's sets for what they are able to pull off, given the parts and color palettes that they were able to provide. The story is still balls, but nothing really else to say about that at this point. Bionicle G2 was problematic. Yes, 100%. It did not sell well. That Lego representative on social media lied to cover up for the actual sales. They said the first Winter Wave sets sold well. You lied, bro. You fucking lied. And the sets did not sell well. You were just covering up, basically. You were covering up the damage that G2 was doing to the Lego company. And just basically being stupid. At the end of the day, G2 existed because the original theme that was going to be in 2015 just wasn't going to work. What are your fondest memories of Bionicle G2? Let me know in the comment section below. Let's have a civil discussion regarding G2, okay? Let's not be immature brats, okay? I mean, come on. And if a G3 does come out, which it won't, I know it won't. Who's to say you won't have a repeat of what happened with G2? Fuck it. Well, that's it for this video. Sorry it had to be 41 minutes in length, but I got a lot to say. I mean, come on. G2 really did cause some grief in the Bionicle community. And it caused some divide, which was unnecessary. And did a lot more harm than good. It really did. Look what you did, Lego. Look what you did. Acknowledging this theme only brings more pain than it did back when it was canceled. Some people are probably grateful for this. That they acknowledged a theme that was unsuccessful. I mean, why? Well, there you go. I'll have a Mohawk video out tonight. Stay tuned for more videos. I am TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks there. Have a good fucking day, and peace.